Okay, coming up next, our Cable Watch takes a close-up look at Stanley Kubrick, A Life in Pictures.
I love him 1 minute, and the next minute I hate him. I could kill him.
And now a movie coming up on cable. Stanley Kubrick was the most private of filmmakers, hardly ever granting interviews, so a new documentary about his life and work is of special interest. It's called Stanley Kubrick, A Life in Pictures. It debuts June 12th on Cinemax, and it will be part of a Kubrick collection that will be released the same day on DVD and video. It was produced by Kubrick's brother-in-law, Jan Harlan, who was the executive producer of his last 4 films. Harlan has access to rare family footage.
Nobody ever accuses him of being playful.
Well, he was playful like on the Addams Family, kind of playful.
Very little footage exists of Kubrick at work, but we do see what's available. Here he is on Full Metal Jacket. Fellow directors like Sidney Pollack, Woody Allen, and Steven Spielberg speculate about their brilliant colleague.
As a filmmaker, you know, for me, he was a conceptual illustrator of the human condition.
Stanley Kubrick was a grand master, a perfectionist who made extraordinary demands on his casts and crews. His work excited intense interest among film lovers, and the documentary covers all of his films, plus legendary projects that were never made, like Napoleon, The Aryan Papers, and AI, which was taken over by Spielberg and comes out later this summer. Kubrick was called a recluse, but we glimpse his warm and lively family life and his friends who gathered often on his estate outside of London, where he prepared his films one meticulous shot at a time. Since Kubrick never publicly revealed his secrets or analyzed his thoughts, this is a valuable portrait of a great man. It plays June 12th on Cinemax.
Well, I found it ironic and disappointing that such a brilliant, groundbreaking filmmaker would be the subject of such a plodding, straightforward documentary that goes on and on and on. It's too long, for one thing, and that's what I found disappointing. And maybe because there isn't a lot of footage available, there's nothing new there. And yeah, they have access to a lot of things, and some of that's interesting, but the talking heads are not saying anything that tells me anything new about
I think they're saying a lot of interesting
Kubrick.
stuff. For example, Woody Allen had to see 2001 3 times before he realized that he liked it. But I think that people are so hungry for information about Kubrick that I'm very happy that all of this stuff is in there.
That's fine.
I think it more or less contains the sum total of everything they could find about this man.
But Roger, as a documentary, does that make it an effective piece of filmmaking? No, they just throw everything out there. So yes, he's a fascinating guy.
Would you rather have seen it or not have seen it?
I would rather it would be an hour and a half instead of 2.5 hours. And as a documentary, I can't recommend it.
I don't want to give up a single moment of it because I want to know about that information.
Well, because you're a huge fan of Kubrick's, and that's great. If people love his work, they might want to see this.
But if you're not a fan of Kubrick's, who's going to watch it anyway?
Well, then you can say that about any movie. I don't think it's an effective piece of filmmaking in and of itself.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be right back with
Park in Los Angeles. 2 big thumbs down for Pearl Harbor, and finally a split decision for Stanley Kubrick, A Life in Pictures, showing June 12th on Cinemax.